Hey yo, what's up, guys, and welcome to the video. Today, I'll be reacting to. Let me scroll this into this. Yep, Ronda Rousey is still completely insufferable by my boy, not my boy, but by your boy Kige. Kige. Oh, I said that right. But yeah, Ronda Rousey went on an interview saying that I believe he's saying like how the MMA fans hate her, how the even when she was in wrestling, the WWE fans didn't like her. So let's hear what they got to
Listen
say.
to some people like, oh my God, a highly accomplished woman with a high opinion of herself. Keyboard warriors to war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's
Hold on, I'm gonna
like I said the other day that I'm the greatest ever, and man, everyone flipped out over it. And I'm like, how do you define the greatest ever? I define the greatest ever as the person who was the most dominant and the farthest ahead of their time. Right? Because you can't judge different eras against each other.
And let's be honest, the people Ronda Rousey faced when she was coming up were not the competitors that the women's MMA fighters were when it now during the era right now. Ronda Rousey would get absolutely destroyed in this era, but I guess she is right. You shouldn't compare eras, different eras, because evolution is a thing. Like every fighter, everything is gonna be a step above. So I get what she's saying, but also like
You can't judge LeBron against Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the greatest ever, I'd say, because of the effect that he had on culture, how far ahead of his time he was, and how dominant he was.
But Ronda Rousey was only dominant against like the most subpar people.
No one can say that I haven't been the most dominant or most ahead of my time, and I'll die on that hill.
Two notable stories hit the MMA world this week. A huge betting scandal within the UFC that's being investigated by the FBI and may result in several fighters going to prison. And Ronda Rousey reappearing in the media after laying low for over a year just to once again prove that she is the absolute worst. Clearly, one of these stories is a lot more relevant and important than the other, so naturally...
I heard about that. I watched the fight too. They're like... I think it was like because the thing is he wasn't defending the chokers. I don't know how to defend a rear naked choke, so don't quote me on any of these. But it's like he wasn't defending the choke, and he was like doing like hitting the back, like punching him out. The choke was in him, so it was like. Yeah, it was really suspicious. Allegedly. It was allegedly. I would say allegedly.
I'm going to go ahead and talk about Ronda Rousey because I hate her. Actually, hate is a really strong word, which is precisely why I'm using it. Enjoy the video. So Ronda recently appeared on comedian Bert Kreischer's podcast and made several statements that ended up going viral, throwing jabs at MMA fans, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Joe Rogan, while also displaying a level of ego. And
crazy thing, Joe Rogan was glazing her when she was at the come
grandiose delusions usually reserved for, I don't know, like dictators of small countries. But the reason why I opened up with a clip of Ronda talking about dying on the hill of being the most dominant and the most ahead of her time is because it perfectly captures what it is that makes her so her. First of all, calling yourself the most dominant when you left the company after suffering back-to-back knockout losses is truly something. It's not like those happened when she was out of...
Yeah, it was... Yeah, Amanda Nunes freaking put the town on her.
Physical prime either. She was only 29 when she left the UFC. But saying that she was the most ahead of her time irks me.
Yeah, for me, like Ronda Rousey wasn't. Will never hang with anybody in this generation. I think there's a few fighters that could, like Demetrius Johnson, could definitely hang with the top. What is he? He's a featherweight. He could definitely hang. Oh no, he's a flyweight. I believe he was a flyweight. Sorry, not featherweight. He was a flyweight. I think Demetrius Johnson's an example of someone who could still hang with the freaking new gen people. That's one example.
A special way because she competed during a time where the women's bantamweight division was about as skilled as the lunch line at your nearest female prison. Most of them were some combination of being extremely one-dimensional, unathletic, undersized, and definitely grossly underpaid in comparison to Rousey, which meant that they were also plagued by low-quality coaching and training camps. So being the most ahead of your time in that group meant about as much as being the tallest adult around a bunch of toddlers, and within the context of the whole UFC, it meant absolutely nothing. Because the level of competition in the male divisions was incomparably higher than what Rousey was facing, but in spite of that, she was regularly showered.
But the thing is, I get what he's saying, but the thing is, you can't really compare them, mainly because of the fact that, I think women's MMA wasn't really that popular. Even though I started my MMA journey a little bit later, like maybe 2020, 2021. I think it's just that no one's in. And I'm not saying this like in a like mean way. No one was into women's MMA, so it's like you know, Ronda Rousey did make a women's MMA what it is. So I guess that's the only thing you could really praise. The one thing you could praise her about, she made women's MMA what it is today.
With praise from not only the fans, but also the MMA media and the UFC brass. It seems crazy in retrospect, but 10 years ago, she was considered to be the bigger star between her and Conor McGregor, and it drove me nuts.
But it is true, she was the Conor McGregor of the women's division.
Because it was obvious that she was severely limited as a fighter when it came to her stand-up. But not only wouldn't anybody acknowledge it, people actually gaslit you by telling you that you were the crazy one if you pointed it out. Her coach regularly made the claim that she would be able to compete with professional boxers without anyone batting an eye.
And then she gets destroyed by Holly Holmes and freaking Amanda Nunes.
She even made the cover of Ring magazine. The Ronda Rousey promotional campaign was simultaneously the dumbest and the most successful thing the UFC had ever done. It didn't make any sense at all, but it didn't have to because everyone was on board, no questions asked. If the UFC was a Michelin star restaurant, Ronda Rousey would have been the chef's kid making meals out of Play-Doh.
And the crazy thing is, Dana White said, yo, we're never gonna have women's fighting in the UFC until Ronda Rousey came
in
along.
The corner while everyone oohed and awed around her like she just cooked up some Wagyu beef in order to keep the childhood fantasy going, except completely unironically. Thankfully, that fantasy was completely shattered by Holly Holm when she knocked Rousey out in round 2 at UFC 193 after thoroughly embarrassing her on the feet. And most
crazy thing is, Holly Holm kicked Ronda Rousey in the face, and then Amanda Nunes kicked Holly Holm in the face. That's like crazy.
Ronda's fans disappeared.
It's like the Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman leg break
overnight, pretending like they never bought into the hype in the first place. Even Joe Rogan, who called her a once-in-a-lifetime talent, claimed that she can beat half the men in the flyweight division and literally tears when talking about her victory over what has to be one of the least athletic women on the planet, and Betch Kohea quickly changed his tune.
Because there was a bunch of fucking people that were going, oh yeah? What about Ronda Rousey? She'll kick in. And I made the mistake of saying, like, hyperbole, okay? I'm the master of hyperbole. I exaggerate all the time. I was like, she could probably beat half the men bantamweights in the UFC.
Is that true?
No, it's not.
No.
Not true.
Things were finally put in the correct perspective.
I think if you put someone against Ronda Rousey, they never like trained in their life. Maybe someone like not as like really skinny. Maybe she could beat her she could just probably get her like put him in an arm bar. That'd be easy. So
Ronda Rousey was a pioneer of female MMA in the UFC, but she was definitely not ahead of her time, being just as one-dimensional as the rest of her competition. With a skill set that consisted of a hip toss, a bull rush, and an armbar, which is why she lost to the much more well-rounded Holly Holm. And I would actually sympathize.
I don't think Holly Holmes was that well-rounded. I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty sure, I don't know how many submissions Holly Holmes had, but I don't think she was well-rounded. I think she just was a better person that night. And I'm not saying Ronda Rousey loses to her. I mean, Holly Holmes loses to Ronda Rousey a bunch of times, but I'm just saying, I don't think Holly Holmes is well-rounded. Like we saw with the Harris fight that she got choked out. Basically, yeah, she was not up to her prime.
With her as falling from race in that manner had to have been traumatic if she didn't constantly ignore reality and claim accolades that she never achieved while not giving any credit to the opponents that beat her fair and square, and constantly making delusional claims like being the most dominant, ahead of her time, or my personal favorite,
I'm the greatest fighter that has ever lived.
Since she left the UFC, Ronda's whole thing seems to
I think Ronda could be top 5. I think like people like Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, Zhang Wei Li are like above her in a sense. I guess she has more title defenses, technically speaking. But like the quality of your defenses, does that like negate what you've done in the past? Like Ronda Rousey didn't have the best people she was defending her title against. Like I guess she's in that like Demetrius Johnson type thing, where people are like, oh, Demetrius did not like defend his title against the best fighters of like the better fighter. It was like, I don't know. It's like, I guess Amanda Nunes is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. It's not even like a question. She's the GOAT of women's MMA.
Telling anyone that will listen about the ungrateful MMA community that supposedly stabbed her in the back after she gave him her blood, sweat, and tears. And personally, I take a lot of issue with that, because that same community took her from having no direction in life and barely being able to afford rent post the 2008 Olympic Games to becoming a household name and having enough money in her bank account.
Damn, you at the Olympics, and I guess you don't like get that much money. I think that's crazy.
To never
is it like it's like a freaking status, like, oh, I won an Olympic
worry about serious financial hardship for the rest of her life. It was the engagement from the fans that prompted Dana White to change his mind about never having women compete in the UFC.
I was trying to get people to accept the men fighting in a cage, and I'm going to admit, you know, there's this male chauvinist side to all of us. I don't want to see a pretty girl getting elbowed in the face. Who wants to see that? I want to see.
I don't want to see women's getting. I mean, I ain't equal rights, bro. Equal rights.
Ronda had a whole division built solely around her while getting money handed to her hand over fist without the talent or the charisma to justify any of it. She's the epitome of being in the right place at the right time. Had the UFC decided to focus on female MMA just a couple of years prior, her spot would have been filled by Gina Carano, who was a lot more marketable, likable, and easier to work with. Ronda essentially won the lottery thanks to the fans. And yet she acts like her appearances inside of the octagon were some unfathomable sacrifice that...
Yeah, Ronda Rousey did not know how to keep any, like, I don't know how to say it, like, she couldn't take the losses because she was propped up to be like I think Connor in a sense is the same way, but it's like Ronda's like can't like take a loss. Like, she's propped up to be like the best. Like, you're the best in the sea of like untalented, like, you're the big fish and all the fishes are really small and you're able to eat the fishes, but as soon as or later those fishes are going to evolve while you're freaking, you know, you're still at that level. Sooner or later they're going to evolve, and then boom,
everyone should worship. As a person that's not a multi-millionaire, I can confidently tell you that I would let every single opponent that Ronda Rousey has ever faced whoop my ass at the same time just for a small piece of her net worth. She has nothing to be mad at the fans for and should be waking up every single day with a Cheshire Cat smile, feeling like one of the luckiest people on the planet, because she is. But then she wouldn't be Ronda Rousey.
It is a weird being the critic without experience in the like physical experience and whatever, whether, and my angle, it's always been comedy. When people critique comedy without ever having done it and knowing how difficult it is, it's always bothered me. But in a weird way, you got to sit back and go, that's what they do, I guess.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, right? I think I get that. Like, you're like, oh, you can't tell me, you guys never done this, so how can you guys complain about it? Or critique it, but it's like, for me, it's like, but it's like these people are passionate. I think if you have passionate people who want to give you criticism, then take the criticism. Like, you know, like not everyone. I think it's better to be told. It's better to be told that you're not the best than be told that you're the best all the time, because that humbles you. You know, I think certain people in life should be told that they're not always the best. You know. Sometimes, like John Jones, for example, right? John Jones, I don't consider him the GOAT. I think GSP is the GOAT. I do not consider people who cheated, essentially. That's why Anderson Silva's not on my GOAT list. But it's like, when John Jones is the GOAT by like the wide margin of people, for me, he's not the GOAT. But it's the thing, John Jones has been told that he's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. And then you see all the stuff that he's like, what's going on with him, a lot of stuff he's done, allegedly, a lot of stuff. Let me put that there, because I don't want freaking John Jones. But it's like, allegedly he's been doing some stuff, and it's like, You know, he's getting told that he's the best, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, he doesn't have the right people around him because he's keep getting told that he's the best, he's the best, he's the best, and then you go down this path. I think Ronda Rousey should, you know, consider.
It's also like
consider herself. I think she should be humble and be like, okay, I lost twice to Holly Holmes and Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes is like the GOAT of MMA, so it's like, is that really a bad loss? Holly Holmes' loss is like iffy, but it's like at the end of the day, you know, I'm not. There's like I will never understand what certain fighters go through. You know, it's not my. I can never get into their mind because a lot of people. Something that makes us unique is that we all think differently. So mentally, I don't know because these people are getting hit in the head all day. So I don't know. It's different for other people.
MMA fans and media are the most "what have you done for us lately" crowd of any sport. Like you look at WWE and they have such a reverence for their legends. And at MMA, it's like the second that you're not on top, you never were.
I'm glad Bert Kreischer.
What have you done for me recently? I guess that is because people will be like, oh, this fighter here is the GOAT. 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 You know, sooner or later, you know, I get what she's saying, but it's like WWE legends I think WWE legends get treated better than UFC legends sometimes. Sometimes I don't know. I think she is right. WWE legends get treated way better than freaking, you know, wrestling.
Equated this to comedy and how
UFC
it bothers him that people
legends.
that never done it criticize people that do, because that point of view really bothers me. If you pay money to be a consumer of entertainment, then you are allowed to have an opinion of it. That's kind of how
Especially when you're making us pay $80 for it.
the whole thing is supposed to work. If you're good, then people give you attention, money, and positive reinforcement, which builds your career. And if you're not, well, then you suck. And people are allowed to tell you that because you made the decision to put yourself out there for their entertainment, telling them that you can make them laugh if they pay money to see you by calling yourself a comedian. So if they're not laughing, you're the one that didn't deliver. And just because something is difficult to do doesn't mean that it's above being criticized.
Yeah.
Roofing is extremely difficult, but if I paid you to fix my roof and then found a puddle of water in my living room after the first time it rained, I'm well within my rights to tell you that you're a garbage roofer. And the same goes for
'cause I
Ronda
paid money for
Rousey.
it.
She expects the fans to sanction her delusions and go along with whatever she says instead of having an objective view of her accomplishments. People are giving her credit for what she actually did, but she takes fans disagreeing with her when she proclaims to be the greatest fighter ever as a malicious.
But here's the thing: I don't get why Ronda even cares that people don't think she's the greatest of all time. People argue about who's the greatest right now. Everyone's top 5 fighters are different. So like, bro, some people might think you're the best woman fighter ever. Your fans might think you're the best woman fighter. Bro, at the end of the day, haters are gonna be haters, bro. Who cares, bro? I think she cares too much. Bro, you're a UFC champion, bro. Even though your division wasn't the strongest, you were a UFC champion. Who cares?
Attack on her achievements instead of what it actually is, pure unadulterated truth. If you lit one match but constantly walk around telling people that you created the sun, you're the delusional asshole and not the people calling your bluff. And it's ironic that she brought up the WWE because while I don't know much about pro wrestling personally, I have heard that during her short stint she left a horrible impression on.
Oh my god, everyone hated Ronda Rousey when she was in WWE. Oh my gosh, bro. I think this is right. There's only a few wrestlers like performers like Bad Bunny, that dude who wrestled Sami Zayn at one of the WrestleManias, and I think that's really it. She was technically WWE fans don't really like, and I guess you could put Logan Paul in there. I forgot about Logan Paul. But celebrity fighters, wrestlers are really like. And Butterbean. I'm sorry, I keep cutting myself off. But it's like Ronda Rousey is an example of if you don't like her, then she feels a type of way. People didn't like you in the WWE because you were getting crazy spots that other people thought other people deserved. You know, you're a celebrity. You're known outside of UFC, outside of WWE, part of the UFC, kind of like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was originally a WWE superstar, though. Back what I'm saying. Ronda Rousey, I feel like Ronda Rousey's problem is like she wants people to praise her all the time, but you have to have people around you that's like telling you like you're not keep you humble, essentially.
Both the wrestling fans and the people that she worked with, supposedly due to being selfish, uncooperative, and having a huge ego. Go figure. And of course, besides the predictable butthurt directed at the MMA community,
her skit in WWE did not last long.
As a whole, it wouldn't be a Ronda Rousey interview if she didn't try to justify it by throwing somebody else under the bus.
I think the only reason that why MMA fans have their lips so firmly planted at the base of Khabib's cock is because he retired before he reached his limit. And if he kept fighting until he reached his limit, everybody would be like, oh, Khabib ain't shit. Never would.
First of all, there are plenty of fans and media.
Oh, I think she's right about that. If Khabib decided not to, decided not to retire that day, and he lost, people would be like fraud check. They did it with Tom Aspinall, even though he got poked in the freaking eye. He's like, oh, fraud check. Do I think Khabib is the best? I think him behind Islam, he is one of the best lightweights of all time. But if we're talking about just straight, resume, is he a GOAT? I don't believe he's a GOAT. He's definitely top 10. Khabib is definitely top 10. Top 10, maybe in the top 9, 8, 7. But it's like Khabib, and it is true. Khabib I think what she said is facts, because Khabib wouldn't be called a fraud if he lost. Hey, retire on top.
Media members that use Khabib's early retirement as justification for why he can't be placed in GOAT conversations alongside fighters that have more complete careers. He just doesn't cry and attack fans for it every chance he gets, so it might have never registered with Ronda Rousey. Secondly, even with a career that was cut short due to a family tragedy, Khabib's record of 29 victories and 0 defeats, with 13 of them being in the UFC, makes Ronda's look completely insignificant, because she only competed 14 times in total, with only
to be fair, that 29 and was
8 fights in the UFC, 2 of which she got knocked out in. Khabib, on the other hand, undoubtedly cleared out the lightweight division, dominating every.
To be fair, Khabib, I'm not trying to sound like a Khabib hater. Khabib, technically speaking, faced only technically striker. Like, he faced a Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and a Conor McGregor. And I don't even really count that Conor McGregor, because that dude's like over, like he hasn't been crap since a Floyd fight. So I ought to give him like Dustin and Justin. Maybe I'd probably give him those two. Conor McGregor
was available and never even came close to being finished or hurt in any way. Even if we disregard the fact that nobody that Ronda faced even comes close to the skill level of a Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, or Justin Gaethje, the sole fact that Khabib had twice as many fights as she did renders her argument obsolete, because if Khabib retired too early, then what does she do? But that gives you a clear window into how Ronda's mind operates. She projects things onto other people that she's actually guilty of in order to protect her ego. But I will say, I did crack a smile at the little jab she threw at Joe Rogan. Yes, it came from a place of obvious bitterness at how Joe has switched up on her, but it was still the most logical argument she made.
I will beat the shit out of you in your backyard for this house. Let's go.
How long do I get to train?
It's right now. Now or never.
You know, I was just talking to Joe on the walk over, and all it takes is a text going, how long for me to train to beat Ronda? That'll never happen.
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
I mean, Joe Rogan, I think he's been in the fight game for a long time, but the way he be saying certain things, I'm like, it's like, the way he be saying things is freaking, oh gosh. Gosh, that laugh.
That's interesting. Is that how you feel about you?
Never fought.
He fought Taekwondo, right?
Never fought. That's not fighting. It's not fighting.
Well,
say what you will, but with how hard Joe was glazing her when she was on top, and with how quickly he switched.
It's great. He cried during the interview too. like one of her interviews, she cried. I was like, oh my gosh, this did not age well.
Once she lost, Ronda has every right to feel some type of way about him. So I don't really have a problem with anything she said there, but it is kind of weird that Ronda is doing a media tour in general, as she technically doesn't have anything to promote, which makes me think we might be on the brink of an announcement. And judging by the black eye that she's sporting in the interview with Bert Kreischer, I'm gonna make a prediction and say that she's probably booked for a fight at the UFC White House in June. That means that I'll have a lot more Ronda Rousey.
Who will she face though? Like, will she face Kara Harris? Kara Harris will destroy her. I'm trying to think. Who will she fight? She can't fight Amanda Nunes. She'll get destroyed again. I guess she give him like the winner of Shevchenko and Zhang Weili.
Rousey content to hate watch in the coming months. So if you enjoyed this video, stay tuned because there's probably a lot more where this came from. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support this channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.
When you walked around the cage after you knocked her out, it was one of, like, I've seen guys win before. I've seen women win before. I've seen people win before.
He switched up.
But I never saw anybody soak it all in the way you did when you walked around. When she face planted, you said, don't cry, and then you walked around like you strutted around the octagon. You like strutted and looked around at all those people.
Are you talking to Ronda right now?
You took it all in. You looked around. I was like, wow, this is a crazy moment.
I never did. That was the first time I.
And you know, and knowing you as long as I've had, and having daughters, and
all right, thank you guys for watching the video. Give my boy a like and a subscribe. Please support the original creator of this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace and have a great day.